Lucy Thomas emerged into public attention as one of those rare young singers whose impact seemed to exceed the circumstances around her. Before her name was widely known, she was simply a soft-spoken teenager from Wigan, England, carrying a voice that did not rely on force but on emotional clarity. When she stepped onto the stage of The Voice Kids UK, she was not presenting herself as extraordinary, she was presenting a song. Yet what happened next transformed her from an ordinary contestant into a widely discussed figure in contemporary British talent television. Her performance carried a stillness that contrasted sharply with the usual energy of competition stages. People watching were not reacting to theatrics but to restraint, as if they were hearing something deeply personal rather than performative. That distinction is what made her moment so memorable. It was not just about technical ability, but about the emotional weight she placed inside every phrase. In an entertainment environment that often rewards volume and spectacle, Lucy's quiet approach stood out. For many viewers, she represented something increasingly rare: sincerity without performance anxiety disguised as confidence. This early attention did not define her entire life, but it did set the foundation for everything that followed, creating both opportunity and expectation in equal measure. The audition that changed perception. When Lucy Thomas performed Moon River during her audition, the setting of The Voice Kids UK became a stage for something unusually intimate. She began the song without hesitation, but also without exaggeration, allowing the melody to unfold naturally. The impact was immediate. Coaches reacted not with staged excitement but with genuine surprise, turning their chairs as her tone filled the studio. What made the performance remarkable was not just vocal accuracy, but emotional alignment with the material. She did not interpret the song as a technical exercise. She delivered it as a lived emotional experience. The simplicity of her delivery created a contrast with the usual intensity of televised auditions, making the moment feel almost suspended. Viewers later described it as calming, emotional, and unexpectedly powerful. The reaction online reinforced this impression, as clips of her performance spread quickly and reached audiences far beyond the show itself. In that moment, Lucy was not yet a public figure with expectations attached to her name. She was simply a young singer who had managed to make a familiar song feel newly meaningful. That distinction would soon become more complicated as attention around her began to grow rapidly. Early recognition and the weight of attention. Following her audition, Lucy Thomas experienced a sudden shift from private individual to widely recognized young talent. The attention surrounding her was immediate and intense, amplified by social media sharing and television coverage. While this recognition brought admiration, it also introduced expectations that were difficult to navigate at her age. She was no longer seen only as a contestant, but as a potential future star, a label that carried pressure as much as opportunity. In school and daily life, she became a figure of curiosity, while online audiences began to compare her to established vocalists and predict her future career trajectory. Her family, especially her mother, played an important role in managing this transition, ensuring that exposure remained controlled and that Lucy's routine remained as normal as possible. Despite this, the emotional impact of sudden visibility was significant. Every action, even simple updates or appearances, became subject to interpretation. The same audience that celebrated her voice also contributed to rising expectations. This duality created an early tension between artistic expression and public perception. Rather than rushing into constant appearances, Lucy gradually stepped back from the spotlight, not as rejection of opportunity, but as an attempt to understand how to balance identity with attention, retreat into pressure and quiet rebuilding. As public interest continued to circulate around Lucy Thomas, she began to consciously limit her exposure and focus on personal development. What appeared externally as disappearance was internally a period of recalibration. The pressure of being constantly observed, even indirectly through online commentary, made creative expression feel increasingly fragile. Every post or appearance risked being analyzed, which led her to reduce her visibility. During this time, she prioritized education, family life, and vocal training rather than public performance. The shift was not driven by loss of interest in music, but by a need to protect her relationship with it. She became more selective about engagement, avoiding situations that might reinforce external expectations over internal growth. This period also revealed how quickly admiration could shift into scrutiny, especially for young performers. Instead of continuing to meet rising demands, she chose to step into a quieter phase where development mattered more than exposure. It was during this time that she began forming a clearer understanding of her artistic identity, away from public interpretation. The decision created distance from fame, but it also created space for reflection, allowing her to rebuild confidence without external pressure shaping every decision she made. Early recordings and artistic foundation. When Lucy Thomas returned to music in a structured way, it was through careful and intentional recording work rather than public performance. Her early studio experiences focused on understanding the technical and emotional layers of music creation. Instead of rushing toward commercial success, she treated recording sessions as learning environments. She experimented with phrasing, microphone technique, and emotional delivery, building an understanding of how subtle changes could alter a song's meaning. Her debut-style projects reflected this approach, emphasizing clarity and emotional restraint rather than dramatic interpretation. Songs she chose to record often belonged to classical or crossover traditions, allowing her voice to remain central without being overshadowed by production complexity. The response to these early works was quietly positive, with listeners noting the sincerity in her delivery. Rather than attempting to reinvent herself as an adult performer, she maintained a sense of authenticity aligned with her age and experience. This period also reinforced her discipline, as she learned the importance of consistency and patience in artistic development. It was not a phase defined by rapid growth in fame, but by gradual accumulation of skill, confidence, and understanding of how to translate emotion into recorded sound. Albums, learning, and vocal evolution. As Lucy Thomas continued developing her recording career, her albums reflected a growing sense of artistic awareness. Each project demonstrated incremental changes in emotional depth and technical control. Rather than pursuing louder or more dramatic performances, she focused on subtlety, allowing space within songs to carry meaning. Her interpretations of well-known pieces were shaped by restraint, which became one of her defining characteristics. Over time, she began to recognize the physical demands of sustained singing, particularly when recording required repeated takes and long sessions. This awareness influenced her approach, leading her to prioritize vocal health and sustainability. The process of creating music became as important as the final product, with each recording session contributing to her understanding of artistic discipline. She also began exploring collaboration more seriously, often working closely with family members in informal settings that emphasized harmony and emotional connection. This period was not marked by sudden transformation, but by gradual refinement. Her voice, while still youthful, began to reflect deeper emotional maturity, shaped not only by talent but by experience and conscious effort. The foundation she built during this time would later support more ambitious artistic steps: strain, reflection, and transformation. As her recording workload increased, Lucy Thomas began experiencing the physical consequences of consistent vocal use. Rather than treating this as failure, she approached it as a necessary part of artistic growth. The demands of recording sessions required endurance and repetition, which eventually led her to reassess her approach to singing. She became more mindful of limits, adjusting her technique to protect her voice while maintaining emotional expression. This shift marked a turning point in her development, as she began prioritizing longevity over intensity. Her later recordings showed subtle differences in tone, shaped by increased caution and awareness. Instead of pushing for perfection in every take, she learned to accept variation as part of authentic performance. This change also influenced her mindset towards success, shifting focus from external validation to personal sustainability. She became more selective in choosing material and more intentional in her preparation. The experience deepened her understanding of how closely creativity and physical condition are connected for vocal artists. While challenges emerged, they also led to greater self-awareness, helping her redefine what it meant to be a singer who could endure beyond early recognition. Renewal through collaboration and expansion. In the later stages of her development, Lucy Thomas expanded her artistic identity through collaboration and larger projects. Working with her sister Martha introduced a new dynamic into her music, emphasizing harmony and emotional connection. Their joint performances gained attention for their natural blend and shared sensitivity, offering a contrast to solo recordings. These collaborations became a space where music felt less like performance pressure and more like shared expression. As her work evolved, she began reaching wider audiences through digital platforms, where recordings circulated beyond traditional music channels. Despite increasing visibility, she maintained a private personal life, choosing not to let external attention define her daily reality. Her work continued to focus on sincerity rather than trend-driven content. This period also marked her transition into more ambitious performance environments, including live stage work. Each new experience added depth to her understanding of audience connection and emotional delivery. Rather than separating her early television experience from later achievements, she integrated them into a continuous artistic journey. Her growth was not defined by sudden reinvention, but by gradual expansion of skill, confidence, and artistic range. Stage performance and artistic maturity. Lucy Thomas's entry into live stage performance marked a significant evolution in her career. Performing in a theatrical environment required a different kind of discipline compared to recording, as consistency and emotional control had to be maintained across repeated live shows. This experience challenged her in new ways, particularly in managing performance anxiety and sustaining vocal strength under pressure. However, it also confirmed her ability to adapt beyond studio environments. Audiences responded positively to her presence, noting the combination of technical control and emotional sincerity she brought to the stage. Each performance became a learning experience, reinforcing her confidence in live artistic expression. The transition from recorded music to theater did not replace her earlier work, but expanded it, adding another dimension to her identity as a performer. She learned to trust preparation and experience rather than perfection, accepting that live performance carries natural variation. This stage of her career represented maturity, not only in skill, but in mindset, as she began to view performance as communication rather than evaluation. It was a continuation of her journey rather than a departure from it. Quiet legacy and grounded influence. As her career progressed, Lucy Thomas developed a reputation not only for her voice, but for her grounded approach to fame. She became associated with a style of artistry that emphasized emotional honesty over visibility. Alongside her musical work, she participated in initiatives supporting young people facing emotional and social challenges, using her experience to encourage resilience. Despite growing recognition, she maintained a strong connection to her hometown and family life, choosing stability over constant exposure. Her audience expanded globally, but her approach remained consistent: music as connection rather than performance for attention. Online communities formed around her work, often focusing on emotional interpretation rather than celebrity culture. This relationship between artist and audience reflected a different model of engagement, one based on sincerity and shared experience. Financial success and public recognition grew gradually, but they did not redefine her priorities. Instead, she continued to focus on meaningful artistic output and personal balance. Her legacy, even at a young stage of her career, reflects an approach to fame that resists urgency and embraces continuity. Conclusion of A Quiet Ascent. Lucy Thomas's journey illustrates a form of artistic development shaped not by rapid escalation, but by steady reflection and intentional pacing. From her early appearance on The Voice Kids UK to her later work in recording and performance, her path has been defined by a consistent emphasis on authenticity and emotional clarity. Rather than being driven solely by external expectations, she gradually built a career grounded in personal understanding of music and self. Her decision to step back from constant visibility allowed her to preserve both her voice and her sense of identity, demonstrating that artistic growth does not always require continuous exposure. Over time, she evolved from a widely discussed young contestant into a more independent and reflective artist, capable of balancing public presence with private stability. Her story is not one of disappearance, but of transformation through restraint. It suggests that success in music can take many forms, and that longevity often depends on choices made away from attention. In that sense, her journey represents a quieter definition of achievement, one shaped by patience, discipline, and a commitment to protecting the very thing that made her voice stand out in the first place.